The psychoanalyst Christopher Bolas introduced the term extractive introjection to describe a situation where the psychic pain of somebody who has been insulted and abused, where that psychic pain is confiscated by somebody with superior authority. And that person uses that confiscated psychic pain, which is not their own. They use it to gain power, influence, and profit. In medicine, there is something known as Munchausen's syndrome. Munchausen was a German diplomat, or a Viennese diplomat, I forget, who was a terrible liar. He told lies. Sadly, the left, or people who purport to be of the left, people who have that radical chic, they are woke, they believe in hashtags. Such people tell stupid, shameful lies. As an example of extractive introjection, I am going to hold up to your view a lady, Dr. Meena Kandasami. She's well educated. She comes from a very good background. Both her parents were professors. She's, Now, I'm going to read out the account in a live mint, the account that it gives of her latest book, or her book about marital rape. It is thinly disguised. It is a roman à clef. This book is called When I Hit You. Okay. The portrait of a modern marriage unraveling is not a pretty sight. He is older, a professor of English literature, a communist, star, revolutionary. She is a young writer on the rebound from a secret affair with a politician who won't publicly acknowledge her. This is interesting. Because, of course, we know from the Wikipedia article that Meena Kandasami, at a young age, translated the work of a Dalit, a Tamil Dalit politician who's doing quite well. He's my age, or a couple of years older than me. So she's on the rebound from a secret affair with a politician who won't publicly acknowledge her. Okay. We understand. Now, her parents want her to marry this communist because they're communists. He's perfect husband material, and so on. So this is about ideology. It's not about caste, it's not about money, it's about the fact that this guy is a communist star. Within days, it is clear she has made a monumental error. He is controlling. He says, disable your Facebook account, and The problem here is that a communist would want his wife to disable her Facebook account and so forth, quite simply because she's got to stay on message, because, the communists have a Politburo, and, you've got to beat the fuck out of your wife or your husband or whatever if they're tweeting or they're Facebooking stuff that they oughtn't to be doing. This Stalinist element is well known in South India, in Tamil Nadu. Indeed, our next chief minister will have the name, or may have the name, Stalin. Karunanidhi's, the son of Karunanidhi, who has won the succession battle, his name is Stalin. So this is about Stalinism, about a family which said, okay, well, you're having an affair with this Dalit guy, but we're not Dalits, and you know you can't be the Jayalalitha to his MGR because this is about caste, because people know what caste you are from. But okay, now you're with a communist, and in Tamil Nadu, communists do get a couple of safe seats into parliament, and they have their network of patronage. And this is money, this is power. But of course, communists don't let you tweet and Facebook anything that you like. And of course, they beat the fuck out of you, because communism is about beating people. But it's equal opportunity. You beat men, you beat women, you beat the fuck out of anybody you can lay your hands on, because that's revolutionary morality. And this stupid woman, has written a book trying to pretend that this is domestic abuse. It isn't. It is communist violence against a fellow traveller who is not on message. So, Meena, the life and blood story behind the data, Meena Kandasami's searing account of an abusive marriage, When I Hit You, or a portrait of the writer as a young wife. This is not a difficult book to read. This is a book which tells you about the evil of Stalinism, of communism, and other parents who say, look, you messed up. You didn't get anywhere, fucking a guy from the wrong caste, because he's not going to lift you up because you're the wrong caste. So, marry the communist and follow the party discipline, the party line. So the reason that Meena Kandasami is getting bashed, according to her own book, A Portrait of the Writer as a Young Wife to a Fucking Stalinist Cunt. What is it? You marry a Stalinist cunt, you're gonna get beaten like a Stalinist bitch. It's extraordinary. What this, the man who rapes me is not his friend who runs away. No, he's a fucking Stalinist, you stupid bint. You can prettify yourself and try to remarket yourself as a Barbie. The fact is that at the time in India you were marketing yourself as some sort of a lefty. And your parents said, well, you're a lefty, well, here's a communist, and, in Tamil Nadu, they're grandfathered into the political system. They get a couple of constituency seats, and, you play your cards right, you could have one of them. You can't have a Dalit seat, because you're not Dalit. Because, there's if your parents, both your parents aren't Dalit, you're not Dalit. So, she's screwed from that point of view, like Rohit Vemula. And it was sensible for her to move to marry, a communist star and professor of English. He'll promote her worthless poetry and her nonsensical writing, and her English is bad. What could possibly make a woman remain in this abusive marriage? Careerism. First, there's her family. The father speaks of give and take, counsels her not to talk back, and begs her to stay for the sake of his honor. It was for the honor of the Communist Party. These were all communists. These were all very, very stupid people who thought that the Tamil Tigers would, What? that, according to Stalin's theory of nationality, the Tamil Tigers and the Christian Prabhakaran, they'd set up a Soviet, where, with gulags, of course. Anyway, this is the stupidity of Kandasami. Now, I'm going to say something incredibly offensive, at least to me. And this, I'm quoting from this Live Mint article. Perhaps an answer can be found in a real-life case, that of the 16-year-old Surinelli girl raped over a period of 40 days by 42 men. The police do not investigate her case. The High Court questions her character. The highest court in the land asks the inevitable, why did she not run away? And this is a quotation from Meena Kandasami. So essentially, Meena Kandasami is comparing her opportunistic marriage to a communist after her relationship with a up-and-coming Dalit politician. That came to nothing because she's not Dalit. Dr. Ambedkar married a Brahmin lady, but she couldn't take over his mantle because she was Brahmin. So Jayalalitha, of course, she was a Brahmin and she did take over the mantle of MGR. But she was a great film star and she worked very hard and she was very brave. And Meena Kandasami is none of these things. So, what do we find in her book? We find herself comparing her own condition as the daughter of two professors, somebody who had an opportunistic affair, of a decidedly political complexion, and, we can easily understand why she would have been promoted in the Indian press and why the useful idiots in the Western press would have promoted her. We understand that. It's because she was aligned in a particular ideological manner. But we can also understand why she now is, battered wife Barbie. She's marketing herself as battered wife Barbie. And she says about the 16-year-old Surinelli girl, she says, "Ooh, highest court in the land," says, why did she not run away? And the answer is, you can look it up. Look it up on Wikipedia. This is a schoolgirl who's poor. She was kidnapped. She was lured. They say she was lured. I say she was kidnapped. And she was a sex slave. And the people raping her, well, some of them were leftist. Some of them may not have been. And that's the whole story. That's it. But this woman, Meena Kandasami, she says that the husband should choose for opportunistic reasons. It may be she does not say that she loved him. She does not say that, he, following the Stalinist line, may have taken away her Facebook and so on. And, he may have raped her, he may not. Because we can't trust a word that comes out of this lying little Torag's mouth. She is a liar. Sometimes the shame is not the beatings, not the rape. The shaming is being asked to stand in judgment. Stand to judgment. Oh, fuck off. Don't be stupid. The shame is in being beaten, it's being raped, and knowing that you let yourself in for it. Now, I could be beaten, I could be raped. It can happen to anybody. But if I let myself into it, that is shame. But the other thing is that, people follow a regret minimizing course of action. They're not so stupid as to try to maximize their utility in an opportunistic manner, which this lady in fact did, by first having an affair with this guy who's, she thought that, I could be the Jayalalitha of the Dalits. Well, you can't. So that was over. Then she says, "Oh well, I'll settle for the communist hack, and they've got their 4 or 5 safe seats, and I'll be all right." But it's going, that's the sort of family we are, and but she doesn't want to do the work. She doesn't want to, take the beating, which you have to do if you're stupid enough to be a fucking communist. It's a shit ideology. It's about slavery, you stupid cunt. And she didn't like it. She left. Good for her. But of course, what she didn't get was the backing of, let's say, she'd been to college with me. She's much smarter. She gets a PhD in social linguistics or whatever it might be. But, basically, we're all batchmates. And if the fucking husband is trying to get tough, we turn up with hockey sticks and persuade him not to be such a stupid little cunt. Because otherwise he's going to get the fucking hockey stick up his ass, in it. Come on. I come from South India. I know about South Italy. I know about how this works. Communists do get a little bit above themselves. But few slaps, threat of hockey stick up your ass, and there's nice as pie. The other thing is, you fucking tell them to do shit for the working class, otherwise they'll fucking beat you stupid cunt. And then they do. They're all right. Just, gotta slap them a little bit. It's like with the Catholic priest. Don't spend all your time fucking the little boys or the nuns. Take a few beating and get back on the fucking straight and narrow, you stupid cunt. You see what I'm saying? And in South India, this type of shit is going down all the time, mate. I've seen it. Even in institutions, any institution, even in one of the best institutions like South Indian Church of South India or YMCAs in South India, you go there and you fucking lay your hands on the guy and he becomes sweet and sweet. Why? It's countervailing power. This is why you have a label. The reason that in economics you have you have laws for organized labor and for every other type of, or for women and so on, is to give countervailing power. But, you got to speed up the process with a couple of tight slap. This is India, South India. It can go too far. It can go much too far. But, this is... we've been around for fucking thousands of years, mate. And we've always had stupid cunts who talk shit. But we don't have a culture of marital rape till people are bleeding and all this nonsense. Come on! This stupid woman, Kandasami, writes from London. The idea that strong women cannot be abused within their marriage is a big myth. She writes from London. I live in London. This is London. And, when I was about 16, 17, I was quite big. But I was thin. And, I certainly was not intimidating to anybody. And I was my second year at the London School of Economics. And I didn't actually fucking ever use a hockey stick. That's false. I went there to beat people with my hands. And, I was in the Indian YMCA, I was the night watchman, and elderly father comes there to tell a tale of woe about his daughter married to a fucking doctor and mistreated. We'd sort it out, mate. Don't be stupid. Of course we did. You see, these things can get out of hand. And there's always two sides to the story. Very often it was when seeing, young... I mean, it's not that I was a tough guy. It was that I was, clearly, with a scuffy type of growth of my... I was clearly a 17-year-old boy who wants food, that Akka, elder sister, come to defend Akka. She would understand that. She'll provide us food, and she said, no, my husband is like this, and but you stick around. You don't have to beat people. It's a countervailing social pleasure. And, it's not so much that the beating has to occur. It is that whose son is doing the beating, whose daughter is his mom. Minister's daughter's son is there. It's not about hockey sticks. It's about countervailing pleasure. That's why, look, we have Tamils, and we sort it out. And I mean, I've been in South Italy as well. It's not there is violence, but violence is a failure. It's a failure of the joint family and community system. It occurs in Ireland in the old days, and there can be triggers like alcoholism and all that, and there is a simple way. Yeah, I was drunk. Okay, come on, brother. You fucking sweat the shit out of yourself. You sweat it out. Dogs, sweat it out. You're there with your mates. So, your wife, you don't beat her because she is the route to having the mates and people who will back you up. Otherwise, it's on your own, mate. You're going to get beat. This is working class 101. Before there can be working class solidarity, there has to be solidarity on these issues. And Kandasami, she is saying, no, the idea that strong women cannot be abused within their marriage is a big myth. Very normal, very banal life, reading, writing, cooking. Oh, yes. This is stupidity. This is why she's had to leave India, because she has no capacity to contribute to the tremendous growth that is occurring in that country. And to hit a strong woman, she thinks, becomes a challenge and a conquest for her husband. Is this true? I know a lot about India because, I used to teach, and then some of my students, did very well, or they came from, their family certainly did very well in India, and then, I live very modestly, and, their sons and their daughters would visit me, and now it's, they have grandkids. But you see, it's because I'd always, when I was young, I'd turn up to go and beat the fuck out of some fucking doctor if he transgresses Hindu rules. I'm a Hindu. This is Hindutva. And there is no caste, there is no class in Hindutva. There is in communism. In communism, this woman was beaten by her husband while her family, professors, they stood by. I can just imagine any Iyer or any Chettiar or any Vaniyar, any Tamil family that I know, their daughter who's innocent get beaten. That guy, that guy gonna be taking his meal through a straw for 6 months. Don't worry about it. I just don't get it. I don't understand this. Women don't have to do violence because men are their brothers, their sons, they come for the fooding. They ask for, you have baby, you turn up, I'm frightened to carry the baby. No, you carry the baby. Men is just animal of a nice, friendly type. Even dogs will fucking attack and bite the ghoulies of anyone who hurt. I'd hurt. I don't really understand where this woman is coming from. And the answer is, of course, she's not coming from India. Where she's going is to France and Europe and America, and she's going to live a Michael Jackson type deracinated life. This is what she's doing. So once again, I condemn Meena Kandasami, and I say that she is not a good poet, a good writer, or a person who seriously engaged with either the left or with feminism or indeed with Tamil politics, even though she comes from there. She may have had a affair, but it was opportunistic. She is I will not say prostitute, because I'm a prostitute. Well, I would be, if somebody offered me some money. I mean, I'd be a prostitute in the sense of offering sexual services. If I were not so disgustingly ugly. And it is my ugliness which has saved me from the streets of shame. But, there is something meretricious about Kandasami. She wanted success fast. But, Arundhati Roy also, she played a part in a movie and then she started writing nonsense. Kandasami actually, I think, is more beautiful than Roy ever was. And I haven't seen the movie of her. There's a Malayali movie, which is... I think she should go for movies, sitcoms, something like that. Or Barbie doll, be Barbie doll. Battered wife Barbie, Indian version. And this would be, let her make money. Because making money is a good thing. When you make money through the capitalist system, you pay tax. And those taxes can be used to help society, even though you yourself may be guilty of extractive introjection and unrelenting stupidity.